Welcome to the San Diego Inventors Forum, the start of our 2012-2013 year. I welcome you here. My name is Adrian Pelkis. I am the chairman, the refounder of this group. I welcome you here tonight. By show of hands, how many here are inventors? Yay! You're at the right place at the right time. Glad you could make it. We are starting off this new year. Another show of hands. How many are here tonight for the first time? Oh, good. Great. Well, welcome. Especially welcome. We're glad you could find us. We'd like to meet every month to motivate those of you that are aspiring to become entrepreneurs to do so. We like to motivate you by introducing you to others that have gone down the path, have got their products in market, and they'll share with you their stories, their experiences. We also every month like to educate you. And so every month there's a subject of the month that is some facet about becoming an entrepreneur that most inventors need to know a little bit about. So you'll get an introduction to that every month. Then at the end of this meeting we have what's called Who Needs Who? And this is when you get to give a shout out. As an inventor, do you need a designer? Do you need a manufacturer? Do you need somebody to help you market, fund this? This is your chance to put up your hands and put this out in the universe, and we'll connect you right here in the group. So that's the format of our meeting. Those of you that are new here tonight, I'd love it if you'd like, of course, to have you introduce yourself. We have a very eclectic group here, a lot of things, people working on a lot of different projects. So if you're an inventor, if you'd like to stand up and tell us just very shortly what kind of area your project is in, and if you're a service provider, we know there's a few of you here too, what area you might be a service provider for. No big long speeches, just a quick introduction. Who here tonight wants to start? Who's first? Somebody else? There we go. Don't be shy.
My name is Steve York. I'm a local business owner here in Escondido. I live in Bonsall. Sometimes I have some good ideas. None of them are on that wall there.
All right.
But, currently I'm thinking of an internet type business. I have some experience in it. But I was introduced by the group tonight by Gene.
Thank you.
I thought I'd come by and just see how it goes.
Well, great. Glad you made it. Glad you found us. Thank you for introducing yourself. Very cool. Who's next? First time here. Yes? Well, you're up in the back with a hat first.
Sure. Hi, my name is Kevin Swanson. I started a company called Centropic Systems, a management consulting firm about 15 years ago. Most recently, about 2 years ago, I proposed San Diego 2015 as a regional outreach for the region. And about a month ago, I registered the Innovation Games as a fictitious business name, and the innovationgames.com, etc., with the idea of inviting the best of the best innovations to a particular region, ideally the San Diego region, during the course of an entire year. Very cool phases. So within the San Diego 2015, there's a number of different inventions, I suppose you could call them. So if you go to the San Diego 2015 and look at the proposal.
Awesome. Thank you. Great move. Great. Glad that you're putting that organization together. Showcase innovation here in San Diego. My hat's off. That's great. We'll talk about how we can.
San Diego to go for it.
Well, California is the invention capital of the country, and we lead 3-4 times more than any other state in terms of patents per week. Next, who's first time here? Yes, dear. Yes, please. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Alejandra Lopez, and I'm in the apparel business right now. I mean, I'm just starting. The idea just hatched, really. I mean, I've worked on it. I have my attorney here with me. No, we're working on it, so glad to be here. He's the one who introduced me to the group, so thank you, appreciate it.
I'm glad you could find us. Thank you for being here. Well, first time working on something. Anybody else? Oh, okay. Yes, Sam. As I introduce you by name. I don't know Sam here, but
But he's new.
My name is Sam Attenberg, and I'm an inventor. I've invented the two devices that many of you may have seen. One is called the electronic photo booth, where you sit inside and take your picture. and the other is called the photo sticker machine, which peels off little miniature pictures, 12 on a sheet. And I'm here because I've invented a new system that I'm going to be working on through friends that Adrian has introduced me to, our community, getting a patent filed and all of that. So, and my wife is here with me, Carol. She's half of the team.
Thank you.
Good move, good move. Yeah, that's going to be exciting.
And this is
We'd like to shout out, shout out.
All right, hi, my name is Coral Bergman. I'm a local real estate broker, have been for 30 years. I've got a patent pending right now for a utility patent on something that I guess everyone's having a little heartache trying to make for me. I just have my CAD drawings done. I've been working on it for almost 4 months with different engineers because half of them think it can be done and the other half says it can't be done. So I'm trying to look if I'm having a tool overseas or here. So that's what
All
I'm
those in
working on.
favor of here, raise your hand.
I've been
Oh,
there,
please,
done that,
people,
so-
those should have some more.
So I'm working right now on getting my my mold made.
Okay,
So that's what I'm
well, that's
working
a
on.
huge, it's on the way there. We hope that in the conversations and the times that you're here, you people come to know that there's so many resources here in San Diego that, one, do need your work, two, have done excellent work for decades, and so do think near sourcing first here in San Diego. And some of the people here in this group are very well acquainted with the sources that are available for you in manufacturing. Okay, anybody else new first time tonight? There was one more hand, there's 2 more hands, there's 3. The gentleman in the back, and then we'll come back to you, okay? Yes. My name is Tyler.
I'm Tyler Harrington. I'm currently working on a nano-engineering degree at UC San Diego. Had a lot of good ideas. I just thought this might be a good place to come and figure out where to get started.
Awesome. Very cool. Nanos go in and everything, so which area in particular is your got a flavor for you?
Anywhere. I'm getting my general in it right now. So
I see. Excellent. Great field. It's growing. Wonderful. Glad you could join us. Yes? One right behind you.
I'm Edward Carpio. I recently just submitted my first patent. It's a smart TV software.
Oh.
But what I'm looking for right now is more of guidance and more of a mentor, because I have ideas from like mechanical to supplements to clothing. I'm overwhelmed, so.
All right, let's hear it. Who is in the same boat? He's in the same boat. Oh, there's, see, there's a lot of us. I quite often have somebody they'll bring literally a bucket of ideas in the office, and it's like, well, which ones do you like best? There's a method to the madness. There is a way. But congratulations.
Thank you.
Being creative sports. Yes, my friend, please.
I'm Alan Hatfield. We've been in California for about 30 years, but earlier I had a medical condition that's called BPH. Many of you men have the same thing. My doctor told me that this condition was for the rest of my life because it wasn't curable. I thought that was ridiculous, and I decided that I would try to find a way to cure this disease. It took me about 15 years to complete all my research and everything. I had no medical background. All I had was good sense and the will to try. I devised a medical device, and it's basically an exercise device. But after exercising for 3 minutes after urination stops too quickly, and the bladder is never emptied. And the way to find this problem is to find a way to increase the bladder flow. It takes my device about 3 minutes, excuse me. Yes, it takes my device about 3 minutes to restart the bladder, and it can be restarted more than once in a single episode. It can be it can be used maybe as many as 2 or 3 times. So the more you reduce the urine in the bladder, the less you get up at night and are disrupted in your sleep.
Wow. Alan, is that something that's made now? Has it been made? This is something you've designed and it's in production?
I call it the prosticizer.
The prosticizer?
I call it the
It's not in
prosticizer.
production.
Not in production
He
yet?
made it, he made
Yes.
made his own.
There's a working model.
Yeah.
Wow. All right.
I got my model. I got my patent in 1997, and I chose, because it was an unknown, I chose to use myself as a
Guinea pig.
so anyway.
A test subject, excuse me.
What I didn't tell you was that within the time that I started and the time that it ended was about 7 years.
Wow.
But I no longer have BPH symptoms, and I sleep through the night like a baby.
Wonderful. Alan. Sounds like a very useful product and device, and you're the proof of the pudding, so hopefully we can help you on the way of getting that actually to the market and helping all the people who really need that. How many in the group are working on a medical device that's to benefit humanity, mankind, people? There's more? There's 2 medical devices. There's good evening. Come on in, Sherry. Come on in. Well, anybody else? First time tonight? There are 2 more. Yes, dear. Go ahead, and then.
My name is Linda Ellison, and I just come up with ideas, and I've never done anything with any of them. I had one idea for an apparel, related to shoes, and I shared it with a friend of mine back in Illinois, and so we've both been talking about it for 2 years and haven't done anything. And then she finally took it to a friend of hers, and she was going to help us with the design. Then my friend got a new job and had to change cities, and now she can't get a hold of the person who we shared the idea with. So I thought we have to figure out a better way to do this. So and Augie suggested that I come here and get ideas.
Welcome. I'm glad you found us. Carol. Yes. Go ahead.
My name is Cheryl Gray, and I've come up with delicious, incredible dessert recipes that are sugar-free and healthy, along with devices on how to make those desserts home. So that's we're trying to get it into production. So.
All the diabetics in the room, please. Well, thank you. Thank you very much. Anybody else? First time tonight? 2 more? Yes, sir. And then the
Scott Olson. I'm a school teacher, but I've had an idea for a piece of exercise equipment.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
Quite a while, and I'd like to flesh it out a little bit better.
Okay. Great. We need more. You know the statistics about percentage of the country is. Never mind. Yes, nice to.
My name is Kevin Morrissey. My friends tell me I'm an idea man, and that I know a little bit about everything, but I specialize in none. And I've also been told that I think really, really well on my feet. Once I'm put out there and start doing something, I come up with some really good ideas. I've created some incredible custom furniture. Whenever a project comes up and I come up with some kind of solution, and people go, "God, that was a great idea." And so I hope I can help you guys out.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. Glad you can make it. Very cool. Well, thank you all. Anybody else that would like to? We're done? Great. Thank you all very much for introducing yourselves, and welcome. Since it's your first time here tonight, what you missed last month, and what I ran over quickly, was we had our contest last month. Once a year we have an invention contest. That $5 that you contributed at the door goes into a kitty, and once a year it goes back as prize money. So I really need to thank, it was Leslie Wagner who connected us with her business there, Jack in the Box, who hosted for us. So thank you, Leslie, for connecting us there. And I want to thank all of the inventors that came, and showed us all of their great inventions. It was so much fun. It's an honor. I mean, we have such great talent and skills here in San Diego. So I'll get into this a little bit more later. Done who's new. Well, that is what's next is the invention contest. That's our news. The winners were, who all was at the contest last month? All right. Did you enjoy it? Yeah. Was that fun? Okay. These kids were, they won hands down. Looking at the scoring, they had it down. I mean, they knew their products, their price points, their manufacturers, the way their manufacturers operated. They knew everything about their business. It was a great presentation, and you got to give them hands. You got to give them a hand that they are so creative and have these clever little ideas and the wherewithal to bring it to market. They are a gifted couple of kids, and they have a very clever toy. On a more serious note, and what was really a privilege and an honor to witness was the second place winner here was Mr. Khalil. Rod Khalil, would you stand up please, Rod? Ladies and gentlemen, Rod Khalil. Rod's product is the self-irrigation container. And we've taken a shot at making some crude working models, and they're going to work. And this man's idea is going to change the world and stop wars, and that's how important that is. So, again, thank you so much for coming and presenting and bringing this idea to us. We're honored. Third place was Gene. Where are you, Gene? There you are. Gene, the blade, magic blade. Great job. Congratulations again. That was a really fun presentation. It really was. And I hope that works out just great for you. I'm sure we're going to see that on TV real soon. Right? Okay. I see the smiles going there. Great. Okay. Now, what else is news for here in Inventors Forum? You see this link? We finally have a professional videographer with us now who's joined the team. Sydney, come out in front of the camera if you want.
Okay, yeah, why not?
Say a hello. Sydney's been gracious, and we're honored that he's joining our team here as a service provider that's going to be capturing these videos and doing a little editing and uploading them on YouTube. So tonight's our first trial of this, and you do have right now the link of everything that was at the contest. It's up online now. So the whole contest is online, and each of you that were inventors, your segment is available online right now. Okay, so thanks to Sydney, and of course, if you don't already know, Sydney is a professional videographer, and his company is Clean Tech TV, which showcases clean new technologies that are going to change the world. So another cool thing. More about SDIF news. Let's see, am I getting ahead of myself there? Yes. More SDIF news. We are also very honored that Judith has decided to come aboard. Judith Dalian here. Our newsletter that I've been doing for 7 years is going to dress up a bit, and we're going to start adding quite a bit to it. And my experience of years working with Judith, I'm sure that you're going to agree with me. We're going to be dressing this up. Judith is a wordsmith and artist herself, so we have another volunteer that joined the group. Thank you very much, Judith, for agreeing to join the group. And Judith will be presenting later tonight, one of our speakers. We also use this segment to see what's going on with you guys. What's new in your zoo? In the last month, actually it's been 2 since we've done this. In the last 2 months, who's got some great news? Who got something to market or built the first model or got a partner maybe, got something started, got a patent issued? You want me to get this going for you? Okay. Well, a lot of you have been listening to me up here for a lot of years talking about my wound treatment system, the AIA, the medical device, the Omizli wound treatment system. And 6 years of filing patents on that. About 4 weeks ago, we finally received a notice of allowance on our claims. 6 years. 6 years. It's actually 2 patents because all the objections for the one were the same as the other. And so I'll have to tell you, though, the key seemed to have been that I finally got in a conversation with the examiner, person to person. And within half an hour clarified things that for years had just been objection, objection, objection. And bear that in mind if you were getting to that corner, okay? Anyway, that opens a lot of new doors for us. We're very excited about that. And so thank you for sharing that with me. Of you, who's got something new? Who's got something built? Got it going? Chris, you've always got something crawling around the moon or going to Mars.
Service provider, I do design and manufacturing. I just hooked up with an individual, and we're doing cases for iPads, iPhones, things like that. And they're selling. We just came up with a new one about 2 weeks ago. We're selling them 30 a day right now off the website.
Selling from start to sales on a website. There you go. Right on, Chris, right on. Who else got a design, got something clicking, made a connection? You have some things going on, you can share. Yes?
My name's Kat. I haven't been here in a while because I had a strep throat. I was very sick. Hopefully that's over. What actually happened is one of several inventions that I have been trying to organize. My partner here, Tricia, is the one who's actually going to be able to test some of it out in the field. I work at a nursery. I've been in the green industry for 30 years. And so this is a way to deal with gophers, which is a $1 million industry if I can do this. And she's actually taking the samples of what I'm working on to a private property that she works on, and putting them out there, and she'll monitor them and see how they respond. And she also has background in plant material like I do. Her specialty is kitchen gardens and edibles, and so we'll be using some of those materials to tweak it based on what I think will keep the gophers away or prevent them from even wanting to show up in the first place.
Oh.
So that's the direction that we're taking.
Oh, clever. Wonderful. Congrats. I've seen sketches, I've seen drawings, we've had meetings. Who else wants to discuss a little something that's been going on? Who else wants to share a little something else? No? Oh, okay. Well, look, you have this opportunity anytime you'd like to come out and share. We'd love to hear it. And that's usual. Again, this month is a new month, so as the months go on, I'm sure you'll hear more and more people sharing their stories as they progress.
Peter,
yes,
I
Nathan?
didn't get the name of the gentleman who was involved with covers and containers for the iPads.
That's Chris Baker.
Yeah. Chris, would you see me after the meeting on Matt Cohen?
I'll connect you up front. We'll do who needs who. You'll talk to Nate after the meeting. Great. All right. New year begins tonight. And here's your schedule for the year. Okay? Here's what we got to look forward to. We've had our contest. Tonight we're going to talk about harnessing creativity. Got some great speakers for you that'll empower you. The year goes on as, again, a bit of a course. One of the very first things that you're going to need to know about is where are we at with IP law. The laws about patents in this country are changing, and it's drastic, and it's going to impact you, and it all, I mean, next March, I mean, it's coming and coming. So right off the bat, we're going to have this, and our own host here, Shepard Mullen, and I'm sure one of our great friends here is going to be the presenter. And then after that, we'll have a little panel discussion. So this is an extraordinary opportunity for you to hear exactly what's state-of-the-art in this area, and then after the presentation, ask questions of some of the best experts in San Diego. Okay, so bring your questions. Month after that, marketing. Nothing moves without marketing. Marketing's the horse that pulls the cart. Quite a few great experts in town, and we're going to do this in two different times. The generalization about marketing, and later specifically about how video and internet is done. Licensing. How many of you are actually planning on starting a business? This is my first question. How many of you are planning on licensing a product? Okay, I'll do this again. Licensing a product? And how many of you are planning on starting a company? Okay, all right. Well, that's where the... Very good. Well, this is why it's its own topic. And it's this is the month where we're going to have Stephen Key come back. He's the gentleman that wrote the book, One Simple Idea. I think everybody who's come to my office here since we've met, I've suggested, and I do to all of you, if you're interested in licensing, Read that book, One Simple Idea by Stephen King. He did Teddy Ruxpin, Laser Tag, quite a few other very successful things. And we're also going to have, Stephen is the speaker, and then afterwards is a bit of a panel, and Leslie Wagner is our resident expert in that regard, so she'll be joining in on that panel, I'm sure. Right, Leslie? Thank you. The Manufacturing 101, that world is changing, and one of the most experienced, well-versed people is right here in the room. It's Michelle Nash-Hoff. So she'll be our speaker that night to tell you what's going on in and about manufacturing, and there are some really exciting new ways to get things made and done. Right, Michelle? Thank you. Look forward to that. Branding 101, again, experts in town. That's their game. That's so important. Marketing 201, some of our videographers and experts that are great at this will be helping you, giving you some tips on that. The 17 mistakes is, well, I've been doing this 27 years, by the way. I have 8-9 patents and have developed over 200 products. So what I did is create a presentation that shows you, well, at least only 17 of the mistakes I've noticed. But they're things you can certainly avoid, so I'm happy to point them out. Okay. Networking and funding, that is its own subject. Of course, there are so many different streams for revenues, streams for funding, and to give you a little basis of coaching on what are the essentials to approach people and communicate what your needs are and make those links. We'll talk about that and have some great speakers on that. The art of presentation is well known, and we'll give you some clues onto that. There is a process, there's a method. And then I'd like to have 1 month dedicated to just some great stories. I know I ask you every month what's going on, what's new, but I'd like to because over the years here, we've made some great success stories. We really have. And I'd like to see some of the greater stories come back on 1 month in particular and really just blow all your minds, okay? So that's our schedule for the year, all right? Okay, well, speaking of which, tonight we're quite honored to have two amazing ladies joining us that are going to present for you. First up tonight, my dear friend Judith Balian, who is the owner of Excoveries. Judith and I have worked for many, many years. For example, the Hypnos company here that April King and I started a few years ago. Every bit of marketing that we did are all examples of Judith's work. From the very first logo, the business cards, our very first banners in our trade booths, our flyers, our cards, everything Judy helped put together. So, with that kind of introduction and no more, I say, please come on up, Judy, and ladies and gentlemen, welcome Judith Bailey.
Well, gosh, it's my, I think it's my 5th year being a member of SDIF, my 5th year in business, and my 5th year of being in SDIF. I'm always so happy to be with all of you because it's so different than anything else I do all month, to be with all of you creative people and seeing things like we saw last week in the invention contest and hearing about new things like I was particularly interested tonight when Kat started talking about her gopher solution. So some of you know my husband Ed. A few years ago we had a gopher problem in our front yard, and both of us being pretty creative and pretty humanitarian, we decided we would create our own gopher remedy. So Kat, what we did was we got a radio and tuned it to a hard rock station, put an extension cord out in the front, and put the speaker down on the gopher hose. So of course this caused a lot of excitement in our neighborhood. They said, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" They said, "Well, you can call the exterminators. They'll come and they'll get these gophers out of the way." We said, "We don't want to kill them. We just want them to go away." So
to the neighbors.
To the neighbors, right? Okay. So I've been out of the corporate world since 2006, and I think that's when I got creative. I also had the opportunity to do something really special from 2004 to 2006. I have a master's in psychology. I spent about 25 years in the corporate world, in corporate sales and marketing, mainly high tech for the educational field. But I got a chance to take a program in expressive arts therapy with Natalie Rogers, Carl Rogers' daughter at Saybrook University out of San Francisco. And that really changed my way of thinking and changed my life. It was after that I came up with the idea for the invention that I have. And by the way, Adrian was in on a phone call with my patent agent, David Waller, and myself with our patent examiner a couple of weeks ago, and it looks like it really does pay to get your patent examiner on the phone, because it looks like finally since 2007, we're going to get ours through too. So tonight yay! Yeah. Well, I knew I was going to get the floor, so. I'm going to have my dear friend Augie pass around a few things for you that will tell a little bit about some of the things that I do. And I'm also going to be giving away some things tonight. So she'll be passing out a bag. So drop your card in if you'd like a chance to win a few things here. I have three kind of interesting things. And if you don't want to end up on my creativity or my marketing mailing list, which I send it out about once a month, and it's really news you can use, just put an X through your name and I won't put you on my list. Okay? All right, so getting creative. Oh, great, thank you. So where does creativity come from? Everywhere. Us? The Akashic Records. That's right. Well, most authorities on creativity will say that it comes from somewhere outside ourselves. Superconscious, unconscious, collective unconscious. Julia Cameron, the author of The Artist's Way, which is the book on which I actually facilitate a class. I've been doing this for 5 years, based on The Artist's Way. If you don't know this book, it's one of the best books on creativity ever written. It's helped millions of people worldwide, been translated into many languages. But she says creativity comes from the great creator. And so whatever way you define that source, it comes through us more likely than coming from us. So in researching this topic, creativity, we're going to do that in 25 minutes, right? So how many hours have you guys got? So I looked up some of the definitions of creativity and some of the requirements for creativity, and I came up with one that I really liked. And it's interesting because it's from Carl Rogers, the famous American psychologist, who's the father of my mentor, Natalie Rogers. And the 3 conditions that he talked about that are needed for creativity are, number 1, openness to experience. Really being able to look out there, not hold things in shades of gray and or black and white, but really being open to new experience. The second thing that he identified was an internal locus of evaluation. Do you know what he meant by that? He meant that the value of your product or your creation was going to ultimately be determined by you as you're creating it. So as you create, you're looking for self-validation, not for someone else. And we all know that the market will ultimately be the validator of our products and services. But you need that internal locus of evaluation. And the third concept that he identified was the ability to toy with elements and concepts, to look at it this way, to look at it that way, to juxtapose it this way. So those were the 3 elements that he identified that were necessary for creativity. Are you familiar with left brain, right brain theory? Probably a lot of you are. So left brain creativity really requires both sides of your brain be working. But the left brain is the intellectual side. It's the logical side. It sees details. It's verbal. It likes math and science. On the other hand, your right brain is very visual. It sees in images. That's why a lot of times creative people will try to have new experiences where they're flooding themselves with images so that they can get their right brain engaged. The left brain sees the details. The right brain sees the big picture. It's thoughtful. It likes connections. It likes to imagine. It's really where your creative child lives, is in your right brain. And in my classes, we do a lot to engage the right brain. Art, music, role play. Engage the right brain, and you will promote creativity. So I'm going to give you some strategies tonight, and I'm going to talk to you about some of the blocks to creativity. This is going to be more, a lot of times in SDIF we talk about the real practical aspects of creating and of inventing. I'm going to talk to you a little bit more about the psychological side tonight. So strategy number 1 is to use both your left brain and your right brain. And you can scour the internet. There'll be a lot of ideas on how to engage the right side of your brain. You can do things as simple as put your computer mouse in your other hand. Brush your teeth with your non-dominant hand. You know why we get so many ideas in the shower or driving down the street? Those are actually right brain activities, whether you realize it or not. So hang up one of those whiteboards in your shower. Walk a labyrinth, do a puzzle. Almost any creative process will stimulate your right brain. So that's strategy number 1. I work with a lot of solo entrepreneurs, a lot of women coming out of the corporate world, or maybe they're starting a business for the first time, and they have a lot of fear. I understand this because that's what happened to me when I came out of the corporate world. I was on top of the world, man. I was standing up there at that booth. I had my badge on that said I was vice president of this, and I was representing this product, and I got the big booth behind me. And then I got out after many, many layoffs. And you know what happened? That person disappeared. I thought, where did she go, this confident person? So I had to learn all of that myself. So everything in this presentation, I've gone through myself in the last 6 years. So there's Fearful Freedom, my secret self, one of them. So what to do with fear? Don't stuff it. Why? What happens if you stuff fear? Does it go away? What does it do? It gets bigger, right? The more you stuff it down, the bigger it gets. So a better thing to do is to listen for its message. And it's probably an irrational fear. So when you listen for its message and recognize your triggers, then you can reassure your scared little child that your big adult can handle it. Right? And you can take appropriate action. So strategy number 2 is change the way you deal with fear. Recognize it and listen to it when it comes up. Anybody here not have any fear ever? Any fearless people in here? Good. Learn what works to calm yourself. Hint, it's probably not another glass of wine or another piece of chocolate. Put the fear into perspective and have your fear first aid kit ready. Think about 10 things that you can do that take the edge off your fear, whether it's go to the gym, call a friend, whatever it is. Come up with 10 things. That's your fear first aid kit. And there's a great book, by the way, called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by Susan Jeffers. That is an oldie but a goodie. I think that was written in the mid-1980s, but the message is still just as good. Okay. Anybody have an inner critic in here? Anybody familiar with an inner critic? Okay, whoops. Okay, this is a test. You don't have to raise your hands, but think about your inner critic. Which one of these is true for you? I seldom or never get critical of myself. I am sometimes critical of myself, but I recognize it and stop it right away. This is my inner critic, by the way. Her name is Carmen, and she looks like my mother, rest her soul. C, I can hear my inner critic in the background most of the time. D, my inner critic is on steroids. You don't have to raise your hand. Okay. About that critical voice in your head. It's not what you think it is. Anybody know what the real purpose of the inner critic is?
Survival.
How so?
It's trying to keep the body in death, termination.
Okay. Your inner critic is actually an iteration of your scared little child. Your inner critic is out to protect you. That's the secret that nobody recognizes. When you hear your inner critic is trying to throw up warning flags. It doesn't want you to take risks. It doesn't want you to look foolish. It doesn't want you to step outside your comfort zone. It's trying to take care of you and protect you. So strategy number 3 is reform your inner critic. Understand its real mission. When your inner critic gets loud, figure out what it's trying to protect you from. And you can transform your relationship with it. A fabulous book that changed my whole idea about the inner critic, my inner critic, is called Embracing Your Inner Critic by Hal and Sidra Stone. I tell the people in my Artist Way class to pick that one up because it's just a real winner. Okay, Julia Cameron says, don't call procrastination laziness, call it fear. Anybody procrastinate?
Oh, someone has really should.
Am I hitting some buttons here tonight? Okay, I've got a big time procrastinator. That's Polly. She's my inner self. That's my procrastinator. You know, she's got a ball and chain on her leg. So beware the saboteur and the procrastinator. They travel in pairs and they're often in disguise. This is Sabrina, my saboteur. Another one of my secret selves. I do a whole thing on secret selves in my Artist Way class. In fact, I'm doing a weekend intensive on my secret selves concept coming up. So. All right, so strategy number 4 is know your saboteurs. Know when you tend to procrastinate and your personal sabotage patterns, when you tend to procrastinate. I know what I do, and I bet there are a lot of women here that can identify with this. I've got a big project that I'm feeling a little uncomfortable about. It's stretching me outside my comfort zone. And what do? Well, I really need to go to the grocery store. Yeah, that laundry needs to be done. Got a vacuum. Oh, gee, I haven't called, my Aunt Madeline for a while. And I will find ways to procrastinate. And then what happens? The project gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So know your own patterns. Okay, this is Patrice the perfectionist. You notice that she's cinched in real tight. She's got a screwed up face and she's all like this. Anybody a perfectionist in here? Would you consider yourself a perfectionist? Okay, there you go. I'm hitting home here. Embrace the concept of good enough. It's probably never going to be perfect, right? If you wait for perfection, you're never going to get it done. I see this a lot with my marketing clients. They will take, I can tell how much of a perfectionist they are and how insecure they are by how many times they make me rewrite that paragraph in their message, right? We're going to change 2 words back and forth 3 or 4 times. Is it going to make any difference in whether or not somebody buys from them? No, but it just has to be perfect. So don't wait for it to be perfect. Okay, strategy number 6, reframe it with affirmations. Change the way you think about yourself and your ideas. You kind of hold back, but then people need and want the product that you are inventing. You're the right person to invent it. If you weren't, you wouldn't have the idea. And you're doing the world a favor by creating it. So reframe it. use affirmations. My product, which I hope I can reveal to you soon, is has to do with affirmations and intentions. In fact, I have a little gift tonight that is another product of mine. So learn to use affirmations. Present tense, positive affirmations. Turn around those negative thoughts. Taking risks. Anybody a little risk averse here? I know that I can be that way. Risks, it's the triple R rule. Risks reap rewards. Taking a risk is the one thing we can do that will most often move us forward. And that's where you get the confidence too, right? Take a little risk. That feels pretty good. I'll take another little risk. That's okay. Another little risk. And before you know it, you've really made progress. So my strategy number 7 is commit to risk. Commit to risk. Take a small risk each day and a larger one each week. Schedule it. Put it on your calendar and do it. Strategy number 8. I have journaled for 25 years. I probably ought to burn them all so that my daughter doesn't find them when I die. She says she's going to publish them. But I think journaling is, and it is actually a main tenet of the Artist's Way program. Your journal is your 24/7 therapist. I like to say sometimes you need to dump before you can dream and discover, right? And if you get into the habit of journaling, it'll take you 21 days to really get in the habit of it. Stream of consciousness, 3 pages, ideally every morning, not on the computer, by hand. I promise you, after a couple of months, you won't give it up. It's a fabulous, fabulous habit. Have you seen those Keep Calm mugs and all the Keep Calm stuff? I love journaling so much. I created this little Keep Calm and Journal Daily thing. Went to Cafe Press and created, it was so fun. Have you ever done that on Cafe Press? You can create T-shirts and mugs and notebooks and aprons and bumper stickers. So now I got a whole Keep Calm and Journal Daily store on my website. Way fun. So strategy number 9, invest in yourself and your ideas. This is India the inventor. She's my little inventor girl, my little secret self. You're worth it. The more you invest in yourself, the more the universe will come forward to meet you and your ideas, and you'll find yourself getting that uplift that we're all looking for. So, Augie, did we get the business cards collected? And did you? Yeah. Go ahead and pass it out. So, any questions before I tell you a little bit about?
Go for questions.
Thank
Wonderful.
you.
That's a great presentation.
Thank you.
Questions?
Let me get everybody's business card too, so I can give away.
Do you have a question?
I should tell you before we.
Encinitas?
I'm in Encinitas. I'm actually going to be doing the Artist's Way both in Encinitas and at the Unity Center at Mira Mesa and the 15. Or I'm sorry, Miramar Road and the 15. Kat? Oh, it's on my website. Oh, I don't care if they sell the world of it. I think they give me a little royalty or something. I just had fun creating it.
It's quite a spreadsheet of articles with a logo on it.
Yeah, it was way fun.
Anything cheap, you put your stuff on there, they reproduce it, and if they reproduce yours, you make a little bit of money on it. But the whole idea is it's a resource to take anything you come up with, make it, and sell it.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
It is way, yeah.
If you start getting action on it, you take it and you make it for yourself and you market it yourself. It's a good way to test something, but it becomes public domain immediately.
Yeah, I didn't care. I did it in 2 hours, and I wanted a T-shirt for myself, and I wanted my people in my classes to be able to buy one if they wanted one. So, I was, yeah, Cafe Press.
Just
Yeah.
look up Cafe Press. It'll find it right away.
Yeah. So what I'm giving away tonight is affirmation kit. It's a little 16-page booklet that teaches you about affirmations and intentions. And then you take this magic silver pen and you write your affirmations on the candle. So you've got a little reminder candle, a little altar candle that has your affirmations on it. So I'm giving away one of those. And because I love journaling so much, I'm giving away a journal. And I'm giving away, sorry he couldn't be here tonight, he's teaching. This is Ed, your former president's book, Buddha Plays 18, by my husband, Ed Ballion. So I'll be giving those away. So did we... Oh yeah, absolutely. So if you'll pass your cards to Augie, that'd be great. What do? I do marketing for Inventors. I facilitate the Artist Way and other creativity classes. I do empowerment support groups. That's what I do.
What are you going to do your class you're going to do is?
The Artist Way. It starts September 11th, Tuesdays, Tuesday afternoon or Tuesday evening, or Wednesday evening in Mira Mesa.
So Tuesday afternoon?
Tuesday afternoon or Tuesday evening in Encinitas,
Okay.
or Wednesday night in Mira Mesa. What is The Artist's Way? The Artist's Way is a book by Julia Cameron, who is a screenwriter. She was actually married to Martin Scorsese. She has done many, many different creative things. She used to write for Miami Vice, and she's written music, done so much. And she was asked years ago to do workshops for blocked creatives, Hollywood screenwriters and people that couldn't get past their creative blocks. So she started doing these workshops, and she eventually knitted them into a book. And the book is all about how to get down past your procrastination, past your past, really change your attitude about creativity. And it has been, so the book came out, and now it's people all over the world have support groups based on this book. I use this book as a background. I use expressive arts activities with this book. So it's a 9-week process to help you overcome your creative blocks. Big, heavy dose of journaling, something called an artist date, which is getting out and around each week to new surroundings to get your right brain going, and a few other things.
Yes, Michelle.
I took the course 15 years ago, and since then I've written 3 books. So.
What an effect.
Wow.
A great effect, yes.
Yeah, I've had about 200 people go through my class. You can go on my website and read what they say about it. Augie took my class last year.
I took your class, it was life-changing. I can say Judith has an energy that just brings out your creativity and just changes things in your life. So, and she introduced me to this group. Side bonus.
I'm not the magic, you're the magic. I'm the midwife. So, thank you.
Any more questions?
Okay, so
Well,
let's...
folks, okay, a drawing.
Yeah.
There we go.
Draw, Adrian. So, okay, for the Art of Affirmation candle. Oh, man, I put my glasses on.
Oh.
Tracy Watson.
Oh.
All right, Tracy.
Congratulations.
For Embrace the Possibility, Live Your Dream Journal. Oh, Coral Bergman.
Oh,
Yay.
There you go.
Oh, ladies.
First time, excellent.
That was positive thinking because that's the one I really wanted.
Is it really?
I saw that. I just thought about it in my head.
The power of positive thinking.
Okay,
Way to
so
go. Way to
go.
go. Dear Judy, please go ahead.
Okay.
Now, Ed's got this book on Amazon, is that right?
It's on Amazon. It's now in Barnes & Noble.
Yeah.
Laura Manica? McKenna.
Way to go, Laura. Congratulations.
Are you a golfer? Well, you'll find somebody who is.
It's an interesting perspective
All right. Thank you so much.
Well, and I met with Sherry and Tracy here in the last few months to work together to do a lot of good things. And the lady I'm going to introduce you to here is a treasure here. She's just moved here recently to San Diego, and she has just an amazing background. Sherry's been very involved with American Disabilities Act and groups like this that what she's done is made a huge change in this world. And she's going to express to you tonight how she's done this and how she's doing this and how she can help you. And I'm just so delighted and I'm honored, and I thank you so much for coming here tonight and sharing, Sherry. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, now we're ready to go, Ms. Sherry Watson.
How are you guys? How are you guys? We need a lot of energy. Tonight we're going to talk about how to get you funding and talk about free money. Who wants to hear about that? Come on! Isn't there some excitement? Well, first of all, it's an honor and a pleasure to be here, and I'm really honored, Adrian, to be invited into this group. Trace and I have only been here about a month and a half now. We're from New Mexico and spent a lot of time in Washington, D.C., and we're here now. And so to be able to meet Adrian and be brought into this group is really a big honor for us. So now, Adrian, let me see if I can.
One on the lower right.
I tell you, some new technology.
Oh, we're having one of those moments. Just a second. Here we go.
Okay, wait. Okay.
There you go.
All right. Okay, you guys, because I've heard about all the inventions and I've gone to Adrian's and met with Sydney and the wonderful projects and the innovation and creativity you have, I really want you to think about, if you had a choice, how would you like to live your passion every day, get paid very well to do it, and help people along the way? How many? Is that an awesome way for us to live and to take this country and bring it back to what we know it was, and to leave it there for our kids and grandkids to have the opportunities that we had? That's what we're going to talk about, and all of you have the creativity, the inventions, the technology, the ideas to really bring goodness to our country. What I'm going to talk about tonight is the greatest opportunity right now in our business climate. It's the nonprofit model. Now, when I first talk about that, people are like, no, we're here to learn how to make money. 28 years I've been doing this, and I've always made more in my nonprofit than my for-profit. We have students around the country that are now making more money in their nonprofit than the for-profit. They're also elevating and building wealth in their LLC or C Corp or S Corp through their 501c3, their nonprofit corporation. So I want you guys, especially this room, I've been more excited about coming and talking to this group than any group I've been presenting to. And you'll learn why as I go into my story. And when you think about the nonprofit model, get those myths out of your mind. That's just little charity that does bake sales. We teach people how to set up corporations. You guys, hospitals, universities, Kansas City Royals, NCAA, I could go on and on. They're all nonprofit corporations. This country was founded on nonprofit corporations. Just a lot of entrepreneurs haven't been taught that entity. So even if you have a for-profit, this is a phenomenal way to bring money in and partner with your for-profit. We'll go into that a little bit. But more now than ever, achievers from all over this country are gathering together and coming to our trainings to learn the strategies and get on the competitive edge for the power of grant money. You guys, of all people I've ever talked to, are the ones that there's so much grant funding available, especially in the area of technology. So we'll talk more about that. Why a nonprofit business and why now? Because it's a whole new entrepreneurial movement. Inc. Magazine, Forbes, Huffington Post. Inc. Magazine did a whole magazine a couple months ago on the nonprofit and the emergence of the entrepreneurial model. It used to be if you wanted to make a difference in your community, you volunteered for a nonprofit. If you wanted to make money, then you started or launched a new business. But things have changed. The nonprofit model now, the corporations are run like fast growth startups. We have bankers, we have attorneys, they're all coming to our trainings because I'm going to explain to you about, even in the real estate world, the nonprofit model now is leading. You know how different this world is. You know how different things are now. The nonprofits have priority with all the banks and the REOs. The nonprofits have priority with HUD, with Freddie and Fannie. We have hedge funds, investor groups that are approaching us right now, got a call again today, saying our deals are drying up. We're being told we need to partner with the nonprofit. Doesn't matter what area you're in, the nonprofit model is a model right now. It's the entity that all the funding's coming in. For example, the stimulus money, the TARP money, all that money out there, that comes down in the form of grant money. To be eligible for grant money, 95% of grant money goes to nonprofits. In New Mexico, we're surrounded by laboratories. We have more PhDs and scientists per capita than anywhere else. We have Los Alamos Lab, we have Sandia, we have White Sands. We have major labs. They have foundations, especially now they're trying to change their image from defense and looking at robotics and prosthetics. We're doing projects with them. They fund nonprofits through their foundation, okay? It's a great way to partner with them by having the nonprofit. So this program's like nothing you've ever seen. If you're a generous person, most everybody is in here. You're raised with the belief about giving back. I'll show you how to monetize that right now. How about doing well by doing good? Is that a good thing? And the best part is you can use free money to do it. How's that sound?
Very nice.
No credit checks, no banks. Is that pretty awesome? It's based on your project. Your credit score doesn't define everything about you. It's all about your project, your invention, your technology, your patent. And to take it to market, to get it, if you're doing technology in the medical world, how awesome is it to be able to get it coded in the billing code, to get it put in the Medicaid code right away so it's reimbursed. That's what we're doing with our nonprofits and the folks that are coming in with the technologies. What are some of the things you can use free money for? Building an eco-friendly world, leading in the change, making millions of dollars in profit, paying your salary, plus expenses along the way. Most people get it back. They don't live their passion until after they've made their money. How many people think I'm going to make a lot of money and then go live my passion? Think about that. You know, really hit home when I was doing a webinar for one of my really respected colleagues who has a large real estate following and a list. And he introduced me on the call and didn't know us. And he said, you know, I want to tell you why it's so important, and I'm bringing Sherry in on a real estate call. He said, my brother was with National Institute of Health and developed all these vaccines and worked with the Gates Foundation. His real passion was to go to Africa with this vaccination he'd done. And he knew if he worked really, really hard and finally retired, he'd go live his passion. That's all he talked about. He said just a few months ago, 6 months before he retired, he died of cancer. And he said he never lived his passion because he thought he had to make a lot of money first. So think about where you are now in life and how this country needs you to move forward. We call it the government's best kept secret, the 501c3 corporations. You know, as nonprofit, not-for-profit, NPO, those are all the corporations that are receiving the grant money. And there's so many other funding streams. You guys, charitable giving of real estate, diversified funding streams that only are applicable to nonprofits. My last nonprofit I had, we made $50,000 a month passive income on just one program. Took $5,000 a month to run it. That's a pretty good profit, isn't it? $45,000 a month profit. We built an investment portfolio. But you know the powerful thing wasn't about the money. We changed the long-term care system. We started getting people out of nursing homes. We did the first kind in the country. We said, Medicaid, why spend $100,000 a year to warehouse our wisdom? We've become a society that throws away our elders and people with disabilities. What are we doing with our wisdom holders? And we said, let's show the rest of the country how to change that system, how to let people live at home and hire and fire their own attendant, be in control of their own life and destiny, and at the same time, save money of us taxpayers. The first year we did it, we saved $700 million. We created 400 jobs in little tiny rural New Mexico. And we became the first state announced by the federal agency, HHS, that had a positive Medicaid budget. And it was because 5 of us, this little tiny group, got together and came up with a solution and connected with the leaders. I'm telling you, our leaders need what every one of you are doing right now. $1.4 trillion industry just in the sale of services and goods per year, you guys. You can generate earned income, and a lot do. Last year, $1.4 trillion just in the sales of goods. Berkshire Hathaway put out an article recently, $12 billion in grants for small businesses. Business world's changed forever in real estate. Look at this. Nonprofit solution to housing foreclosure. Nonprofits giving first shot at bank foreclosures, helping home buyers and neighborhoods. So 501c3 corps are the most profitable corporation of all. So if you forget, our students now have funding called the 501 See Me Make Money Corporation. So we're going to get everybody involved in developing a 501 See Me Make Money. Because I preach and teach, the more we take care of us, the more we can help others. Do you guys believe that? We have to take care of us, and then we can reach the rest of the group. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about how I got involved in this, or why I got involved, and why it's such an honor to be here tonight, of all the places I've been. I got started the hard way. And like Adrian, I'm going to present the 17 mistakes. I'm going to tell you, I don't recommend other people get started this way. Learn from me, having gone through it. I was out on a Saturday afternoon. We were the All-American family. My husband, Tracy, here. Raise your hand. He won the award tonight. We had 2 baby boys. We had a 2-year-old and a 7-month-old. And so on a Saturday afternoon, they were taking a nap, and I went out and rode my 3-wheeler down by the river where I always rode, and he got a knock on the door. And he said, they said, call the ambulance, Sherry's bleeding from the head. So he's thinking stitches, and so he races back down to the scene of the accident, and it's in his spare lot they haven't built on yet. And he said the last 20 feet were on his hands and knees. As he said, I was like a gray, ashen color, and I was laying in a pool of blood, bleeding from my nose and my mouth and ears. The paramedics came, couldn't get a pulse, and they called me DOA, dead on arrival. And Teresa laid there with me and said, you know, I believe, and I'm praying that you're going to stay with this. We got to the hospital. I had a severe brain injury with a brainstem contusion. 28 years ago, didn't know a lot about brain injury. In fact, they didn't even have a definition. We were just other at that time. They hadn't saved a lot of us. And so they brought in the chaplain. They couldn't stabilize me. Took my family to the quiet room. And they said, you know, Sherry's not going to make it. As my family sat there with the chaplain and knew the fight I had in me, when the nursing surgeons came back hours later and said, you know, if she's a fighter, she has a 50-50 chance. And they said, get her room ready. I went through the journey of coma for many months. And I tell you what, coma is not like we see on TV. I just didn't wake up and start talking. In coma, I had to relearn everything just like a baby. I had to relearn how to swallow. That's the hardest thing I did. You're born to swallow. It's not something we've learned. I had to relearn how to talk, how to walk, how to ride. What a blessing it's been at such a young age to learn what we take for granted. Amazing. When you were talking about fear, as I started getting into rehab and had lost control of my destiny, you know, I wasn't a mom or a wife or a musician anymore. I was a patient. And so regaining that and going back to the community college a year later and going in an ugly brown sweatsuit, and he did my makeup and hair, so girls, you can imagine I looked like a clown. I had the little pink spots, but you know, he tried. And our girlfriends are up there wearing their mini dresses and the high heel shoes, and I have a big fat pencil and a big chew tablet, and they're rolling me up with the towel wrapped around me because I drool and a patch on my eye. So what? You learn humility, you learn to let go of fear, and you learn to never give up. It's been an amazing journey because I learned being challenged in life is inevitable. Being defeated is optional. Throughout that journey, I kept saying, why did this happen to me? Why me? And it was my mentor that sat beside me every day, who finally said one day, he said, I know you know I'm in here, and I know you're angry at God. And he said, but you know, my God would not hurt you and then heal you. We have different gods. He said, you defy the law of gravity. My God picked you up and healed you, and medically, they cannot explain why you're alive. So instead of ask why, it's time to ask what. What's my purpose? And I think all of us in this room have gone through journeys to now say what? What's my purpose? What can I do with my invention? That thing I have in my mind, those sugar-free cookies and things you're making that help all the folks with diabetes get, how can I take that and turn it into something great? When I said, okay, what's my purpose? Because we started a little support group at the hospital, could barely walk or talk, and the next time I know, the hospital's helping us set up a 501c3, had no clue what it was, got a grant. I loved it because it paid my salary and the rent, and I thought, wow, this is cool. Started getting other groups together around the state that were getting like that, and then around the country. And you guys, you know what? Started a national organization for people with disabilities. I was elected president, called Tracy, said I'm moving to Washington, D.C. Didn't know anything about Congress. Couldn't even barely walk or talk. But I knew I had a purpose. And from that purpose, a few of us got together. And I got together with Jim Brady, and I told him I didn't know anything about Congress or funding. Who knows Jim Brady? He's a hoot. I was scared to death. I was sitting in my office with boxes all over, had no clue what to do. People kept saying, call Jim Brady, he's sitting in the back bedroom. He took a bullet for a president, and yet he's just sitting in the back bedroom. When I called him in, just tell him I was scared, I didn't know how to do Congress, I didn't even know how to say it. Do you think you can help me? Jim leaned back in his wheelchair, and he said, honey, if I could sell President Reagan to the American public for 8 years, I think I can help you. What an incredible journey we had. From that one meeting, when Jim starts teaching me how to work behind the scenes, how to connect with our leaders. You guys, every one of you need to be connecting with the mayor and the city councilors and board of supervisors and your assembly people, and they're the ones that can wave the banner. They're the ones that can get the funding. They're the ones that are going to listen when you have ideas that can redirect money to make a bigger difference and serve more people. Our first bill in Congress, we got $20 million. Our first bill. We set up 4 regional brain injury centers. So the inventions you have, the talent you have, guys, there's no limit to what you can do. Oh, I got to say this. I worked with Harrison Ford. Tracy and I got to do the movie regarding Henry. How many of you have seen that? If you haven't, you need to see it. Once we had gone to Congress and showed the media that we weren't victims in tragic ways, we say Congress, then they said we've got to get to Hollywood. We've got to get the media to show who we are, inner strength, how that we've let go of fear. And we gathered a few of us together and we took the movie, we took our first bill, and then we said, you know what? We've got residual effects. Everybody I built my whole career around were disabled. People paralyzed from the neck down that led our movement. Ed Roberts that had post-polio before the technology that lived in an iron lung. We put a rear view mirror up above him so that we could talk to him. He helped lead the way. When he wanted to go to Berkeley, and California said the vocational rehab that was created for us with billions of dollars, and they said, no, he's too severely disabled. And Ed never gave up, let go of fear, and 8 years later, going to Berkeley with his mom and it's carrying him, living in an infirmary because there's nowhere to live. 8 years later, he became the director of California's Voc Rehab. That's the kind of people I got to grow up with and learn from. So yeah, we had residual effects, but you know what? This little group came together and we created the Americans with Disabilities Act. Is that pretty powerful? Just think how 88 It's been an amazing journey, and you guys, I'm here tonight talking to you because we need to come together. We need to bring you guys in. We need to lead this country in a different direction. Our systems are broken, whether it's veterans, whether it's seniors, whether it's housing, education, but it takes us to step up and take the lead and bring some common sense solutions. So, I'm going to buzz through this because I could talk forever. I want you to look at this. People always ask, so what is grant money? Grant money comes from your tax dollars. So grant money is your money. Do you think you have a better way of taking that money, the wound care system? Just look at that for an example. The billions of dollars we spend on wound care and what Adrian's developed that is truly healing at such a different cost. Is that something that this country's ready to look at?
Yes.
We can take those products and take them to market. So whatever your passion is, you guys, there are no answers. The power of grant money can help you get this. So look at some of the projects we're doing around the country. Affordable housing, eco-friendly, renewable energy, technology, assistive devices, veterans, seniors, youth, healthcare, housing counseling, financial literacy. Those are projects that we're doing all over with our nonprofits. And you know what? The number one thing, the insider secret, is it's all about connecting. It's not about Googling grants and seeing 8 billion of them getting overwhelmed, or getting that big fat book that most of those don't even ever exist. Here in San Diego, now that we're here and I've started connecting with the leaders, the Board of Supervisors, when we met with them, they each have $50,000 set aside. So when you hear that we have no money, they have money for their projects. They have money for you to go in and talk to them about how you can change the education system, how you can change childhood obesity, how bring this cookies to market to change what's happening in diabetes. You've got to connect with our leaders. So as we connect, look what we're doing around the country. In San Diego, do you ever see any vacant properties? Do you see vacant commercial properties? Well, then partner with the city. Get with San Diego County. You can get free money, turn that eyesore into a success story. Here's another thing we're doing. We're working with many corporations, Home Depot, different corporations. They're doing cause marketing. They're aligning with a nonprofit. Think about it, on TV. It doesn't matter if it's Kia cars or Men's Warehouse. Donate your suit and we'll donate it to a nonprofit. Bring your suit in, we'll donate it to a nonprofit and give you a half suit, a half off. Kia, buy a car and we'll give so much to this cause. They're aligning with causes. We have a cause marketing forum, Kellogg's, all those are involved. It's increased their customer loyalty. It's increased their business. There's so many ways you can get money in your nonprofit. One of the things we teach at our training, and I won't spend time on it, donations, charitable giving of real estate. Phenomenal way to create funding for your nonprofit. So what we're going to talk about our training, and I wanted to just show a little bit here, and know it's time to go. But think about the matches made in heaven. You guys know about peanut butter jelly, salt, pepper, yin and yang. The powerful match is your for-profit and your nonprofit. And that's our specialty. That's our expertise. How to build the firewalls. Here's an example, a case study real fast. And I was especially thinking about you making the sugar-free treats. Renting your house, having your nonprofit, getting the grant money, say from Centers for Disease Control. They're doing a lot looking at reducing obesity and looking at nutrition. And so get that grant to your nonprofit and then rent your house to do the project in. So pay yourself a salary. So you write all that in. Here's one of our students that was sitting like you guys. She was sitting there and she had a 77-acre ranch in danger of being lost because she'd gone through a hard time. She created a 501c3 money, came to our training, sat there, created that corporation, connected, started connecting, and her nonprofit, within 6 weeks of our training, she got $78,000 to start a youth smoking cessation program. Now that's not something she would have thought of. But on this ranch, it was a great environment to bring kids in. As we met with the legislators, found out that's where he had some money. So we used free money to pay for the ranch. We made more money for her ranch than her payments were. We did phenomenal things. We turned garbage into gold. We used big tobacco money to pay for youth smoking cessation programs. We did a really creative thing. We wrote in the budget stipends, so the kids came in and helped create the documentary. Instead of us telling kids to quit smoking when they're invincible, we had kids that had watched their parents and grandparents go through cancer and sat there with their grandma with a tracheotomy. We had them talking to other kids and creating this documentary. And because we had a legislator, because we had a leader involved from the beginning, waving the banner, bringing him in, doing the ribbon cutting. He was at a National State Legislators Conference, and he was able to get connected with National Geographic, talking about this great project, and they're now doing a story on it. So it's amazing Here's her ranch. Real rough place to have to work, huh? But she says, working with Sherry has been the most powerful business investment I've ever made. In only 10 hours of actual work with Sherry and her team, I was able to get a guaranteed $78,000 in grant money for 5 years. Since then, I've been working with her team, even go more funding. The money keeps rolling in. I can't wait to see what happens next. Margaret Merrill. Well, she just opened her first entrepreneurial center on her ranch, and we just had an entrepreneurial training with 100 kids a month ago. The funding keeps growing. You guys, it's not just a one-time shot to get you some money. It's really something to build on. I have to end with this, Adrian, because I haven't even shared with you all the way. Do you want to hear about a case study closer to home?
We all get to learn together. Come on.
Come on. Yes. Okay. Here's Adrian Pelkas. We have set up at his nonprofit called the American Healing Centers. Remember when I said it's all about connecting? And I probably will get emotional, but that's okay. When I first met Adrian, sitting there with Sydney and Adrian and our colleague Ed, he'd introduced us. And then Adrian started talking about the wound treatment system and the kind of results he was getting for people. That's one of our #1 issues in the disability community. In the nursing homes, we have lost so many of our leaders due to bed sores. One of my best friend that I had mentored and built the first Native American center in Tuba City, got him on the National Council on Disability, the first Native American guy, just paralyzed from about his waist down. It was just amazing. And right before, a few months before I met Adrian, he'd been in the hospital for a year, and he died of a bed sore. So when I knew what Adrian was doing and the kind of people he's bringing forth, I want to give everything I have to bring these to market, to bring these to our country, to the people. And so I told Adrian, we've got to get a nonprofit set up. The world I'm in, we have legislation called the Assistive Technology Act. Have you guys ever tapped into that? It's amazing. I got on the websites, all 50 states, it talks about the project. We're talking billions of dollars a year. We fought for that after ADA, then we needed technology. Well, here's Adrian, not even connected with this world. So we set up this nonprofit. So I said, okay, next thing we've got to get funding and get you out there, right? Well, we want to get a billing code so we can get reimbursed. So Lex Frieden, who authored ADA, who's paralyzed from here down, the most amazing man I've ever met, he's the board president for AmeriGroup. AmeriGroup is the largest managed care company in this country. Managed care in the States trying to contain costs. You think they see something like Adrian's product that's going to make sense to them? So I called Lex. Lex is also the director of TIR, Texas Institute for Rehab and Research. That's one of the most world-renowned. That's where Congressman Gifford was sent, because we built that. We got the funding to start that so that we could train interns 20 years ago from our perspective. Now Lex has the most powerful group of doctors, and he's the chair of AmeriGroup Managed Care. You think he'd be good one to connect Adrian in the Wound Treatment Center with? So, all these things that Lex does. He's professor of biomedical informatics, or professor of rehab, University of Texas, professor of rehab at Baylor School of Medicine. I sent this stuff to Lex last week. Adrian and I were together. A friend of mine, Jim, who's now the governor's commission chair, him and Lex worked together and called me yesterday and said, we are going to New Mexico in August.
We are.
We're meeting with the governor's office. They're having a national Agency on Aging conference August 22nd, 23rd in Santa Fe. 1,200 seniors will be there. The Governor's Commission is going to be doing the whole thing and announcing, I can't tell you the details, but announcing a federal project, a demonstration site that's going to be held in New Mexico with the VA, with the Agency on Aging.
Thank you.
And we're going to be the ones presenting, you guys. So this all comes from being involved with our leaders and being connected and having that nonprofit. The American Healing Centers now is going to take these products all over. And we're
10
gonna
years
get
ago,
it.
10 years ago I started this project. 10 years ago, I envisioned a burn suit. 7 years I've been pushing this thing. I use the expression plain Sisyphus. And we've been getting nowhere. I mean, I've gone through boards, I've gone through the best connections, and it wasn't until I met Sherry here that we got these things clicking. All these things have just clicked in the last couple of weeks. So you can imagine what a ride we're being on. So.
Bravo.
It's been amazing. And to share it with Lex, I sent him with the things, and Jim, and within 24 hours, we had things moving. And you guys, that's how it works. It's not just with this. That's how we're doing our projects all over this country right now. So now's the time to take action. Tap into all this money. You guys are the ones that need to tap into it. If we keep doing things the way we're doing them now, are we in a good path? We need the entrepreneurs. We need the leaders to come in and take this money and do what should be doing. So we're so happy to announce that being here in San Diego, we did our trainings in Washington, D.C. and Florida and all over. We're doing our live 3-day event here in San Diego. And a lot of it is because Adrian opened the door for us to come here. And I really want to be able to teach you. We have a powerful team. You see me up here talking now, but we've got a team of folks that have done nonprofits for their whole career. They've built amazing things. So here's what you'll learn. How to create your own 501c corporation, how to get tax exempt, how to get paid $100,000 plus to live your passion, even if it's part-time, how to achieve financial freedom by putting your for-profit and your nonprofit together, and then real estate riches, helping others. And even if you're not in real estate, we have some of our nonprofits. We have the Youth Entrepreneurial Center. They're using real estate to raise funds so that they can do all the great things in their Youth Entrepreneurial Center. We have a foreclosure model, the vacant commercial properties become a magnet for free real estate. You'll be really on the cutting edge on that one, you guys. We just had a gentleman donate a $9 million ranch next to Camp David, and he had tried to give it to Mayo Hospital and 2 Ivy Leagues, and they rejected it. We have the leading expert on our team in the country, it's been in Forbes and all over, that facilitates those deals. And so you'll meet him, you'll get to see what that's about. The 7 best sources of free money, how to generate free money on autopilot, the top 10 ways to become a hero in your community, and how to market yourselves, and what to know. We have a 3-day hands-on, full immerse training with me and our entire team. It's tax deductible. Bring a family member or business member for free. It's July 27th through 29th. And it's in San Diego, you guys. So write down those dates. This is what I'm so excited, because we're new here. We want everybody to be involved. This is what it was before for 2. And then this is what we had changed it to. And Adrian, I'm so excited to share with you guys. Tonight, it's only $97. You guys, we want to really rally the San Diego community. We want to build the coalitions. We want to bring this together. We want to get the Inventors Forum involved. We want to take all your products to market, even through the American Healing Centers, getting the funding for you. So if you guys want to sign up, we'd love to have you. And this is the first time we're offering this. We've set up a website for you guys. It's www.grantmoneylifetraining.com. And Tracy, you stand up?
Do I have to?
Yeah. Because you have to. Can you tell we've been married forever, you guys? Tracy, I want you to get out the flyers. And those that are interested in, I really want to acknowledge Tracy. He's a foundation. So put the power of grant money to work for you. Learn step by step how to get paid to live your passion, create financial freedom. I have lots of testimonials. So just write down those things. So anybody that's interested, that's coming, would you guys raise your hands? And Tracy can pass out the forms. Yay, awesome. You guys, thank you. It's such an honor to be here and to hear about all the beautiful things you're doing. And we'll do everything we can to help you get the funding to take it to the next level. Let's make it happen. And you guys, I can't wait to share what happens after New Mexico.
Yeah, this is just the start.
And then
Stay
I got
tuned.
more. I haven't told you the rest.
No,
and
wait,
then,
better go sit down.
listen to this. We're going to New Mexico in August, and then we'll be going to Cheer. Lex has 20 interns, the top in the country, and he's going to gather the top doctors, and then he's going to have us go to Cheer. Probably looks like September. And then in October, we have the Southwest Disability Conference that has about 2,000, 3,000 people. A lot of scientists like IBM, Technical, the top dogs, all them. They're all coming, the governors. And they've asked us to have a booth. They're going to give us a booth and then have us present.
I will present. We will present. Yes. Awesome. Thank you so much. That's so much. Thank you so much. Yeah, this is, again, a perfect example of, well, a lot of things. Persistence, I think, is one, you might agree. And getting out of your comfort zone. For the last 7 years, I've been barking up the same tree, going after the same people, getting nowhere. And it wasn't until earlier this year I just went, this is just, what Einstein said, doing the same thing's nuts. So I jettisoned the board. We started all over from scratch. And I went to the new groups, I went to new circles, I made new connections, and this is where we are. And this has all just happened the last few months. So yes, you can restart, reboot, and create a new path. Sherry, thank you so much for the presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, Sherry Watson, Power Grant Money. Who needs to? We have a few minutes here. Starting with, please do. What is it you're looking for and how can we help you?
I'm looking for a very, very experienced mold maker that does injection molding for plastic.
Okay.
I've got my CADs drawn, and I need somebody that really has a lot of experience on how to make a mold. And really the only people I found that would be able to help me are literally in their 50s and 60s
Well,
that have that much experience.
Well, turn around and there's somebody tapping your shoulder. So we'll be able to get you connected there real quick. That was easy.
Oh, wow.
Next. That's how fast this can happen. Who's next? Who needs a who or what? Who's looking for something? Bill, what you need?
I'm Bill O'Neill, and I got to tell you, the first thing I've got to do is hurry home and tell my wife how creative she is. Because nobody has more fear than her. She doesn't sleep because of her fear. And I've told her, you worry about the sun coming up in the morning. Those kind of things. And if I can get her off of Facebook long enough, maybe we should come up with enough products we don't have to worry about mine. But in the meantime, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a manufacturer of disposable diapers, incontinence products,
I know the president of Presto, they own the company that does that.
Oh, good, okay, because
Ding, 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 ding.
everything I've found so far is on the East Coast. And I'm
No,
hoping
they're
that,
in Minnesota.
well, that's closer than New York and Florida, so.
Cool,
But
Gene.
anyway, good, I'll talk to you about it, Gene.
Right on.
Anybody else that had anything or suggestions or knows of anybody or anything that might be helpful, I'd appreciate it. Thanks.
Right on, Bill. Thanks, Gene. Next, who needs a who or what? You're looking for something. You need a designer, you need a manufacturer, you need some funding. Yes, Jennifer.
Jennifer, I may have an opportunity to present some information if someone has an invention that deals with energy innovation, especially for the commercial marketplace, and more specifically for commercial kitchens. So if there's anyone that already has developed something like that, I may be able to include it in a presentation of a concept that I've been talking to a company about.
Oh, how interesting. Wonderful. All right, thanks for offering that. So for the first part, let's focus on inventors. Who's looking for some help to move something forward? Yes, Pat?
I need an expert in capacitance electronic detection.
Okay. Capacitive electronic detection, like touch screens or?
Similar to that, if you've got experience with ice, I've got an ice detector. It'll help people not fall. Multiple applications.
Interesting.
And I need the sensor guy.
Okay.
I've got the back end, but I need the sensor guy.
All right. And email me, because there's a couple other groups in town that we could get you introduced to that those towns thrive. IEEE group comes to mind. Yes, sir.
Can I share a story really quick regard the inventions? And because you have pet products there. I worked in the foreign trade zone for over 16 years, import and export, and pet products came to mind, and this is really what lead me to do whatever I think it's good. You know, I have, several things among the list, but I see pet products and it reminds me of a young man who lived in Palm Springs, and he was about 26 years old. And he came up with several ideas for pet products. And he got into debt for over $200,000. And he kind of got stuck and discouraged because of fear. And I helped him, he was my customer and he was very outgoing. And later on, something like all of a sudden stopped. And I got a hold of his mom, and his mom said that he shot himself because he didn't know that so much debt was going to get him anywhere. And if I think the pet products that we have right now, there's like in the billions of dollars, he would have been so great at what he did for the benefit of pets. And I think it's a wonderful story to encourage everybody else to just, reach our goals, to do whatever we're meant to do for this world.
Thank you. Yes, that's the truth. Steve Jobs. Well, plenty of people quoted things along these lines, and that's all very, very true and good advice. Life's short. Do what you were meant to do and accomplish it. You'll be happiest in life if you pursue your goal, not people or things. Your goal. You keep working towards your goal, you'll be happy. What everybody else is doing or thinking, you'll be happy. Okay. Next. Yay! What's up?
I'm looking for a tablet formulator.
Who's what?
A tablet, an effervescent formulator.
Tablets for what?
Formulator, like an effervescent or chewable.
Like an alka-seltzer.
Oh, tablets.
Like tablets,
Like
pills.
tablets, yeah.
Excuse me, I think of tablets, PDAs, all sorts of tablets nowadays. Do I eat it, punch it? Okay. A pill formulator. Okay. Nutritional.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
I'll say one more
Yes,
thing.
yes, sure.
Now that you're here too. I am going to be starting a center eventually for autism.
Wow.
My son wasn't inflicted with it when he was 2. Moderate to severe, couldn't speak.
Speak up a bit, please.
My son was diagnosed with autism when he was 2. I'm a single parent, and I was told that he would never recover. And he was very, very severe. He couldn't walk, he couldn't talk. My friend Augie here has been through it all. He just now is 7 years old. He is completely 100% recovered.
Oh, yeah.
He is one of the very few children in the world that has ever been recovered. I did it myself. I'm not a scientist. I'm a mom, and I sold everything I owned. I gave up my businesses, and for 5 years, that's all I did was work on how to figure out how to recover my child. So I figured out the cure for autism, basically. And
Did you keep a journal?
yeah, I've got it journaled, and it's all. I was involved with Jenny McCarthy, and I got involved with all the people. And in the end, my child walked away. You know, put him in a public school under. You know, this guy had regional center help. You know, we had the whole thing. And when I took him into first grade, I didn't have an IEP. I had nothing. I never said anything to the school. I signed him up, put him into first grade, and he came out on the top of his class.
Well, for one thing, any other who needs what? Going off on a bit more of a tangent here. Yes, my friend. What can we help you with?
Let's see. Anything with chem major regarding like hydrolysis, protein, mechanical engineer, software developers, who can make prototypes. Obviously, have a lot of one hand for everything.
Well, there's you've just uttered 5 different things, and there's people in this each one of them. We know chemists in town. We know guys that do prototypes. So, say it one more time, and we'll follow you out the door.
Maybe a mentor.
All right. See me. I'll talk to you. Okay. I do again meet people for an hour, free in my office, usually on Thursdays, to see where you're at, where you'd like to go, and how we can help you get it there. So. That comes back to me being in town this 30 years and developing hundreds of things for hundreds of people. So we know who does what, pretty much, okay? So we'll try to get you hooked up. Anybody else need something? Looking for something? Wanting something? Yes, my friend.
2 seconds, maybe a job.
In what? Doing what? Nano?
Nano engineer.
Nano engineer. Well, there's things going on.
Think big.
There's things going on. I'm dealing with nano.
It's while I'm in school.
Absolutely. I've had interns come to me, and that's why they are in jobs right now. So there's a lot of things going on in nano. We're talking to people doing stuff with medical and material sciences. So, who needs who? Who needs what? What's it all about? Networking. That's what it's all about. That's why we're here. Okay. Let's move it forward so we can get closer to that. Backwards. That was who needs who. Next month, yes, IP 101. You'll have some great reps here from the firm Shepherd Mullen. It's helped many of us get through their patent issues as the key speakers, and then some of our own experts in town will panel discussion. I do want to thank you all for coming tonight, and I do have to thank Shepherd Mullen for hosting for us, providing the space. Very kind of him. There are service providers that make this all happen. I am happy to be the major service provider. My company, A2 Technologies, for 28 years, been helping people go from initial concept through design and into manufacturing on a predetermined cost, budget, and schedule. The Inventors Forum, yes, you come talk to me on any Thursday for free. We're happy to connect you with resources here in town. Here's some of our other friends and associates, and we welcome you all back next month, same time. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you.